pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Amendments to the agenda.
Yes, sir. One, if it's okay with the board. Under executive session, I'd like to go into executive session under 1 VSA 313A1, and that's under legal correspondence and contracts.
Okay. Somebody want to make that
moved.
motion? Second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We have a very comfortable agenda. I'll thank you to
I was on vacation.
be brief. Approval of the minutes of June 25th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 25th as written.
I'll second that.
Okay. Neither Chad or I were there, but I think we can vote on that without having any trouble. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you again. 5 minutes for public comment.
I doubt you lost anybody, but when I walked in and the conference door was closed, I thought it was a closed meeting. So maybe a come on in.
Yeah, we should have something on the door.
I understand the air conditioner is on. Come on in, the air conditioner is on. Close
Yeah.
the door behind you.
Yeah,
That's it. Thank you.
thank you. Oh,
So, I actually just have a question for Joe, but I had gotten distracted by the calendar, so my apologies. Were you able to get a hold of the railroad regarding the Pleasant Street and Cedar Street crossings?
I never did. Not for lack of trying, but I just get stuck on a phone tree and they didn't get back with me. So
Thank you for trying.
keep at it.
I did get in touch with GMP though. They cut some trees that they left on the sidewalk. So we've been reaching out to everybody.
That's it?
That was it.
Okay. Thank you. Department head reports, chief.
We've had 2 arrests in the last 2 weeks, one for DUI, and 3 warrants. We wrote 72 traffic tickets, 29 this morning, 4 parking violations, and 1 car crash. We did 1 overweight permit, which is a straggler from normal, 41 years so far. We did 11 sets of fingerprints. Provided you highlights of what we had. Mark Vattel's reading his 4th year with the department. The department just finished up our annual firearms research on Sunday. We had 161 calls for service in the last 2 weeks, and we're at 2019 this year. And I will do the June financial report once everything, and that'll be the end of the fiscal year, so I'll give you what. Ours are approximate, obviously, we keep our own, so we'll have an approximate what we did for the year, the month and the year. Hopefully by next fall and everything, tied up for this year. Outside of that's been pretty relatively slow 2 weeks, I don't use the fewer.
Just
I already did, I just did that before it came down.
Just for, I'm sure you've gotten it too, we're on the low end of the rain scale tomorrow, but we are supposed to get a bunch of rain, so. And we're in pretty good shape, River Street is the worst.
We usually do pretty good here, where other towns get it.
Yeah,
They monitor the town barn area. And
yeah,
Green Road is
yeah. You're the other department head. Thanks, chief.
Grinding and paving on Liberty Street. I haven't been out there, but that should be a quick job. If they're not done today, they'll be done tomorrow. We submitted that grant for the new backhoe. They open those proposals tomorrow, so we should be hearing if we receive any cash sometime this week or the next. Project WorkSafe, if you remember, they came out a couple weeks ago. We're plugging away on that list still. I got Dan Gray coming out. Since we hit the new fiscal year, we'll be able to have him come out and do the repairs. I did mention to him about the flagpole light, and he said he'll take a look. Apparently it's been an ongoing problem for years. We did, barring anything bad from his background check, we'll be offering Mr. Reese Castro the position as the new recreation director. His first day is July 15th, which is Monday. So we'll bring him into the board next meeting for a meet and greet. That we had, just so everyone knows, we had a kind of a big committee, maybe 7-8 people sat down, representatives from a lot of different areas in the town, and the consensus was Reese was our best choice. I attended a hearing this week on the Lake Bombazine herbicide appeal. Right now, the state's taking the lead on that. We're still a part of the suit, but their lawyer is handling it. Lights in the park. We have reached substantial completion with that project. Mr. Greeno, they found 6 poles that were not plumbed. They set them straight.
They've been working on them, right?
Yeah, I told them straight, and they said plumb. It's like,
Plumb.
yeah, plumb.
Plumb.
So they found 6, they fixed them up. There was trouble with the sensor being overridden by the timer, so the lights would come on at funny times instead of dusk and dawn. They're working on that. I'm also getting the manual, the instructions manual, so we could do it ourselves. ARPA, I was requested by Mr. Dorn to bring some numbers for how much ARPA funds we have left. Just a little bit of the history. So the board allocated $150,000 of ARPA funds to the sidewalk project downtown. Since that project has been closed, we still owe, I think it was $88,000, I rounded 90, about $90,000 to the state. That leaves the Board of Selectmen $64,000 in ARPA funds. It's now just sitting out there. There's no allocation for that. So it's something to be thinking about, how we're going to spend that money.
And that the plan for, sorry to interrupt, the plan for ARPA fund spending has to be finalized by what date?
The end of this year.
The end of this year.
Yeah.
Fiscal or
Calendar. But that's kind of a moot point at this point. If you remember, we did that, what would you call it? That thing we read out loud a couple of meetings ago. That allocates the funds to the town.
Okay.
So the auditor's helping us figure that out. So we're not losing
Already
any.
been allocated.
Yeah, there's no big rush on this.
selectmen bonuses?
That's what I was gonna put forward.
Just
And last thing, the business sign grant that the state gave us. This is to help put signs out near the highways to point towards our businesses. As some advertising, I'm working with our locals on that right now. I did have somebody call and ask for a little bit of assistance to get that moving, so that's going fine. And that's all I have for you.
That constitute the manager report as well?
That was it.
Okay.
One question for you.
Go ahead.
Were you going to talk at some point about the election that's supposed to happen next week, that the...
Yes, I can bring that up now.
Because the people who have sent absentee ballots and everything, I think we need to talk
Yeah,
about.
so this is actually part of legal discussion and executive session, but I can give you an overview of the election. So the election is, we have a informational hearing on the 15th, Monday the 15th here in Town Hall. The vote is the following Tuesday, regular, I think polls open at 10 down at the Legion. This is a one-question ballot, and it's asking, shall the voters of Fairhaven accept an offer from, I think his name is Jerry Sayers, to sell Mr. Sayers a piece of property for $30,000. If voters wish to sell the property and take the money, you vote yes. You vote yes to sell the house. Apparently there was some confusion around this. It's yes to sell the house, no, the town keeps the house. Unfortunately, Mr. Sayers is backed out of the deal. So we have some guidance around this from legal and from the Secretary of State that the board will have to discuss.
Okay, we'll do that in executive
And that'll be
session.
an executive session.
Okay.
Why?
It's,
I just voted today.
it's from the lawyer. I mean, there's a decision that can be made when you come out,
When we come out.
but you have to, yeah,
All right.
it's literally legal advice, and I have copies of the,
Okay. All right. Anything else, guys? Rose?
So will there still be an election?
I guess that's what we're gonna find out from the legal, which we will make that apparent quickly. Because I'm with you, I don't know that this is legal advice that we should be
Right, we need to,
holding back. But I'll listen to it in executive and then we'll go from there. Okay. Any other questions on that? Water and sewer rates?
so these are the actual schedules of rates and fees. The board approved the rates last meeting. This is just the official signature on the document.
Okay.
There you go. Do you want me to read the rates?
Might just, well, as long as,
So for the sewer rates, your base rate has stayed the same at $25 per quarter. Your meter rate has gone down for sewer to $14.32 per 1,000 gallons. For your water rates, your base rate has stayed the same at $38.50 per quarter. And your meter rate went up
50 cents.
50 cents to $8.62 per 1,000 gallons.
It was correct in the minutes last time,
It was
and I'll just copy
same.
that.
Do you need a motion or just signatures? Because
You
we've
passed
already,
You've already made the motion.
we've already passed it, so you just
Yeah.
need signatures?
Yeah.
I think we can live with just that.
And those rates took effect July 1.
There is no new business. The next thing on the agenda is the revenue efforts. I saw that email.
Yep. I don't have anything more than
That's interesting, that email is very interesting. I was quite surprised that because there's different, for charging fees, there's different solid waste districts who charge their own fees. And so how can you have a viable solid waste district in your area if we're pillaging the people? And for instance, it's more in Castleton. If I was in Castle, I'd drive to Fairhaven and dump my trash.
That's what I hope.
Yeah, it's very interesting they're allowing that.
Want the money?
But anyways, if they're not arguing, why should we? Does anybody have any additional discussion on revenue efforts? I'm gonna take that as a no.
The only thing I have is.
I'm gonna take that as a yes.
We did discuss bringing back up our park events.
Mm-hmm.
We were gonna get a hold of the Chamber of Commerce and bring them in and have a meeting and discuss stuff. I still think we should do something. We have got to generate some money from that park for maintenance, for the light poles and all that stuff. It's all gonna be more money down the road if we don't.
Well, we're promised through this year of not doing anything. But I would think-
I understand that, but I'm talking Nick.
Yeah.
I mean, we done things at the last minute and we got demoralized for it. Now we should get ahead of the ball game and get something in the plan.
I would think that maybe in September, before we start budget negotiations, that we set up a meeting with all the principals so that they understand where we're coming from. I mean, you're right. No need to slap them in the face again and then have them slap us in the face. Yes,
I was thinking about pushback that we got, and maybe the happy medium is if you're a Boy Scouts or nonprofit or a 503c, we don't charge. But if you're a food truck vendor that comes in, it's your for-profit, they pay $5 or $10 or something. Then you're not ruining Apple Fest because the school comes in and Masons come in and do their thing or whatever, the barbecue. But you have Spring Fling, where you have carnivores that come in, set up their own food trucks, and they're 100% taking money, or it would hurt them to charge them $10 or, like we do with Pebble Tournament.
right.
I was thinking for a happy balance between what, I don't think anybody would complain. If you're a for-profit, and I heard my food truck, they're going to pay $10.
Well, it's who gets the fees is the big argument. Chamber of Commerce, which isn't a total Fairhaven thing, takes the fees for the spring fling, and the town of Fairhaven's left with trash removal, cleanup, the whole 9 yards, and we don't even break even on it, say anything about making revenue. So the thought is that we would change that structure a little bit, but we tried that a $5 surcharge, and you would have thought it was taxation without representation or something, but it was almost a revolution.
As an aside, a shout out to the lumberjack people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they clean up as if that never happened.
Yep.
I missed the show this year, but
Oh, there was a lot of people too. It was
I
a
know,
ton
but
of people there.
There's no evidence that even happened, you know.
It was such a great show also. It really was a wonderful time.
Yep. Parking lot is pretty much static right now. There's nothing going on there. Board roundtable.
Okay, well, a couple of things that I've got, it's already been mentioned, but the railroad tracks are a real issue across town. I don't know if you've been over them, but they're muffler ripper
Oh, yeah.
guaranteed to tear off. And I don't know what their plan is, but if they don't go back and put some long aprons and get that so that it's gonna be all kinds of problems this winter with plowing and also small cars ripping off their mufflers.
They're historically
Yeah, it's
historically bad.
They just
No, but it looks
they
like,
raised them up and
Yeah, they do as little as possible to keep the maintenance of the tracks, and nothing else seems to matter.
they seem to bank them tracks almost like they're gonna go faster or something. I don't know if anybody's approached us or what, but there's something going on there we gotta check on.
The railroad is the railroad. I've made, I've expressed concerns to the railroad, and they haven't done anything about people that hurt.
Yeah, but they can't make it unsafe for the public.
we have an ordinance, when you open up a cut, that you replace the pavement the way it was. They tore that pavement up, it's all gravel and up in a mound. That's not putting it in the same shape it was. Do we need to
Plus the angle change, too.
We don't have
get some additional help to get the situation resolved? Seems like there's some,
Keep hammering on
it
them.
looked like a job that was half finished. They did a terrible job, in my opinion.
So I think a little patience would behoove us here, because they're gonna come back and they're gonna pave it and make it right. When, we don't know. But the railroad, we have no jurisdiction over the railroad right away.
If it's a safety hazard,
But if they're making the roads unsafe, we can howl. Call the state.
I can send some emails.
Call the state. Get everybody involved. Don't be shy.
you would think they would want to have goodwill in the communities they're going through.
They don't.
Well, they don't really care.
And if they don't, we
It's
should
not-
help them have goodwill for the communities.
You don't know how long it took us to get a decent crossing at South Main Street. That was forever.
Down on Prospect,
Just to Kinda- Yeah, there was 2 times when
On a bicycle.
motorcycles were crossing, the tracks caught the tire and they fell down. The 3rd time, the guy actually fell and broke his arm. And I sent this guy who broke his arm, I sent him the emails I'd sent to the railroad, because they don't care. So something happens, has been my experience.
That's Amtrak that comes through there and everything. And if we need to get a hold of Billy, I believe in being patient because it was 4th of July, but this, when they come back is not a good answer. And they should be able to say they're coming back on this date to fix it. It's,
Again, it's me, but on River Street, the street sign, big street sign, yellow, underpass, clearance is 10-6. Big letters on the underpass itself, 9-6.
That's interesting.
I've been writing letters since I was on the board. And they don't change well, they did put the sign up on the street that it's 10-6, but I don't think it is.
and we're not shooting the messenger truck.
The cement truck stuck in there.
Sure you will.
No, no,
Yeah,
I spoke with a gentleman from the railroad about tracks. They are putting new tracks in, and they're doing this all over because I think it's the Amtrak, but the tracks have been folding, and that's what's been causing all these derailments. So they're putting these new tracks in. It has something to do with the heat and then the friction of the wheels. Anyways, they're putting all these new tracks in all over the country. They decided to do this. However, they never set anything up with a paving company to fix it after they did it. So now they're in the process of getting the paving company, when they get around to it,
yeah. That's not unusual.
to go. Instead of making arrangements with a paving company earlier, so that then they would do the construction and immediately thereafter have the pavement done. Yeah, they just decided we're going to do this. My concern is all the rain we're going to be getting tomorrow and the next day, how that's going to work with all the gravel and how much of that gravel is going to wash away.
We're gonna find out.
So, but I had mentioned this to Joe last week, and he's been trying to get a hold of the railroad, and they're just roboting him.
Is there anything we can do ourselves, like a little flashing, something so people who aren't used to the street hit the thing and take off and go in the air? That, I understand it's the railroad, but if someone, it's our people and people that are getting hurt, we've just spent quite a bit of time talking about it, so it's, it's a given, it's a safety hazard. What can we do to mitigate the safety hazard while they're getting their act together?
So this was brought up too, why doesn't the town just put up a sign that says, hey, warning, this is hazardous? My concern is that DPW goes out, puts up a sign that says, hey, warning, we're warned, the town is now warning you of this. Now the town is somehow taking a liability on it.
I don't think it's the town's responsibility to do anything.
It's certainly not.
In my opinion, the railroad should step up to the plate and do it right.
That I agree.
So we wait till somebody gets hurt and then
No.
worry about, and say, that, to me, that's still not,
I was thinking of calling in the middle of the road on each side. Tell them warn you.
there's something, it doesn't cost a lot of money, a lot of effort, but doing nothing and saying it's not my job is, to me, is a pretty feeble answer to a safety problem like what we have out
I
there.
do hear what you're saying,
I
but I also kind of agree with Joe. We don't want to take liability for this.
the fact that we know it's a safety hazard, we already have liability.
As long as we know it's a safety hazard, we lose sovereign immunity.
Absolutely. We,
We know it's a safety hazard and the responsible parties have been warned.
So that's good.
Yeah,
That's good, but
I've been dealing with it. We really don't have any liability or any jurisdiction in that space. As much as we want to say, go do this, go do this, go do this, we can't. It's just, we don't. And I could call them every day, but they will ignore me. But I will do that.
I don't think it would hurt to put some sort of
a cone.
cone or a blinker or something.
We got people, or are you saying we're gonna put our head in the sand and do like down here on West Street, where people take their own cones and set them out on where the sidewalk and the slate was? And I mean, that's okay, but I don't think we're doing our job either if you have the taxpayer have to go do that.
If the board would like, I can put out some cones. But
You kind of hear where we're coming from. We don't have to beat this dead
No,
horse.
I
I agree with you. But something else, Rich? Was that it for you?
That was, yeah, the light poles, and that was my 2 issues, yes. And it looks like we've got things squared away, almost.
Light poles look good. Plumb. It's good to see these upgrades, you know, especially with how well Park and Ride looks right now too. It's nice to see in town.
It's a lot better than the other side.
It is. I do have one more little quick thing. We need to get the striping crew in here as quick as we can this year to get these lines striped.
middle of town.
Get our new parking area striped
That's all done.
out here.
Oh,
West
yeah,
Park
okay.
Place.
Okay.
I've seen them parking every direction now.
Depends on who starts.
Is that gonna be angled?
Yeah. Anything else? Sir?
I'm good.
Just that we had a resignation from the planning commission, so we are in need of, we need to advertise for another person. And I'm working on us needing to advertise for 2. But right now we have one person that doesn't show up ever and refuses to resign. But as of now, we're down to 4 members, so if one of the 3 regulars doesn't show up, we don't have a quorum. Okay. That's all I got. Checkbook, or financials.
I'll make a motion to approve a payroll for,
Wait. Go.
make a motion to approve the payroll for $37,365.64.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
I'll make a motion to approve the warrant for $32,498.17.
Second.
Is there an explanation for the extra one? Is that the end of the year
That's-
kind of thing? Yeah,
That's
okay.
our fiscal year 24, finishing up the warrant, so a little longer, but things are winding down. Yep.
We all know what we're doing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve our fiscal year 25 warrant for $173,040.36.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
And that's mainly the Belden payment for the majority of that. And our checkbook. Our checkbook stands at a negative $181,745.02. Before you panic like I did when I looked at it and says, okay, we're operating in arrears. We have plenty of money. This is just one of those things where we haven't put the balances back in. You want to explain that?
So this happens every now and then, this time of year, because tax funds haven't started, tax money hasn't been coming in. So as soon as property taxes start coming in, you'll see your checkbook bounce back up.
I'll hold you to that. Okay, that's all of it. Motion.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session under 1 VSA 313A1 for legal correspondence and contract.
Second that.
All those in favor?
All right?
Aye.